distraction. No. Hey, guys, today we have a special guest for you. We have John Kim. Wait, I didn't do like a fun name intro. John Extraordinaire, M driver with camera rig, smoke your ass in the mountains, Kim.
Hello. How are y'all?
Yeah.
He's hyping me up. Vince is a much better driver, and he's anyway.
You guys did good. So we met on CLT Speed Rally.
Correct.
Recently. We had a good time. Your footage came out incredible.
Thank you.
We were eating dinner, and I was like, dude, come on down. Let's get you on the channel.
Yeah.
What?
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Where'd you come from?
Right now I'm stationed in Virginia Beach. Currently employed by the Navy and myself. And before that, Washington.
So we're shooting this on a weekend?
Yeah, of course. I'm on leave. There's nothing illegal happening. I'm on leave.
Good. No, I'm just messing.
Before that was Washington State. Before that was Texas. And then before that was Korea. So
Holy cow.
Yeah, I've been a lot of places.
That's
not by choice though.
Yeah, that happens in the military.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your service. I'm also an Army veteran.
Yes, thank you for
Infantry.
your service.
Yep. So thanks, brother. Brother in arms. Anytime you meet a fellow, service member, veteran, I mean, you're immediately like in the brotherhood. Yeah. So that's probably why I liked you initially.
Maybe we haven't
didn't even know it.
We haven't gone to the nitty-gritty talk yet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do we like each other? No, just. So we met at the rally. I really was inspired by what you're doing. This rig that you developed yourself, which we're going to talk about when we talk about the car. Stay tuned for that episode. That'll be separate. But you were willing to drive all the way down here to come to my garage for this to talk about you.
Yes.
I love it.
Well,
so give us a little
about
bit.
Me.
Yeah, no, seriously,
Right,
that's why I
right,
wanted you here.
Right.
And what I love about, and what we're going to get into is what I loved about you is you're in the journey. And when I were talking about at dinner was that you were kind of wondering which direction to go on certain things. So I just want to I want them to know about you, what your passions are, what your inspirations are, and then let's kind of talk about all that together.
Okay. Yeah.
Sound good?
Yeah. But when it comes to videography, actually me and Vince were talking about it. We were at dinner yesterday, and we were like, if you look at it nowadays, we're not really quite sure who the videographer is, and now who's the really, who wants to film this and be about the car and like very passionate about the car, and then you have people that are like, this is gonna get me a lot of views, or this, you know what I mean? And with that being said, that in photography, passion, it's hard to find like passion, and it's starting to get diluted. I kind of think so.
Literally, that's the word I was thinking of when you were talking.
But with that being said, it's, there's like, for those who have innate passion for videography or photography, I hope people are able to see the difference and like stand out. But with that being, regardless, it's just like, there's not as much money, or like people have to make a living and do things. But I mean, it's still pretty fun to do. And you meet great people like you. Like I went on different rallies and stuff. That's really what kind of got me into this stuff. I developed the rig with my friend Matt Smithson, and we were just kind of going through it, and he was like tired of paying somebody for rollers, and it's like, bro, you got the talent, you got the drive, let's figure out what we can do. So, we put our heads together and developed this thing. Plenty of failed attempts. Some of the footage was awful.
I bet.
it was so bad. I was like, and we try to make it work. With that being said, here I am. I still have a long way to go.
I do too.
Yeah. Hopefully. Hopefully we both have long ways to go.
But this was so cool because it's all about the journey. And that's what I'm trying to kind of hone in on today is talk about your journey a little bit, because let's back up for a second. You're passionate about cars, obviously, and driving them. Yes. Because you're not because there was another car on the rally, but he was in a Tesla and he had a rig, which he's awesome too. Yeah. But look what we're sitting in front of. Like, this is pretty dope. My first car was an E92 M3 that was like my, holy crap car.
Right, and that was kind of what we talked about at breakfast. So all three of us have had E92 M3s, and we know how great. This is not an E92 marketing campaign, but they are fantastic cars. And yeah, correct. And go ahead.
No, so with that being said, I mean, this is a driver's car, and you have a rig attached to the back. So it's like two passions coming together. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what got you into cars first, and then what got you into photography.
Ooh, I remember it was really young, and then it was like later on it kind of developed. But when I moved to Texas in my rock days and whatnot, as a kid, my friend had it was a Porsche Carrera GT, like a little toy. We didn't grow up so great, so we didn't have toys. So I would go to my friend's house and I play with their shit. And he had I remember he had an Acura Integra. It was like complete opposite. It's an Acura Integra, like the Type R race thing for something. And then he had a Porsche Carrera GT. And I remember just like being so like enamored by what are these things and why people like them. And then like another friend, his dad was like a bodybuilder, and at the time they had like the new like Eclipse, you know, like with the round. But everybody wanted
that car back in the day,
so bad. and I just remember being in it. I was like, this is pretty fucking cool. And then later down the line, I remember like experiencing that. And then like when you get to Washington State, we weren't in the great parts there either. But for some reason, the cars, just like the thought of car, you know, you have Civics, you have all the tuners, and you have the stance. And I was trying to figure out why people were doing it. And like, it was like, it's so weird, and it kind of brings people together. And now, you know, after I've seen Lamborghinis, I've seen what people drive, I've ridden them, I've driven them, and then it started focusing on like, all right, so what's best value for bang for buck type deal for performance handling and all that. And then, you know, you start researching things, and as a kid, enamored by cars. Now it's like it started developing, and then once I really got into like the Navy and started having my own money, and like that's when it started. My first E92 M3, because before that I had a Jeep Wrangler, like an old one bought for cash.
Toyota 4Runner.
Yeah,
I hear you.
I had a WRX. It's a terrible car. I'm so glad. I'm not gonna say I'm so glad I crashed it, but like it got wrecked, and I'm like, oh, thank God. I had an MR2 Turbo, which was like my.
Those are pretty cool too.
It was so fun, but then I started. I'm not a great driver at the time, and I think after that, I sold that and got the E92 M3 because my friend Rojas got it, and I drove it, and I was like, this is way better than like this like cramped thing.
Yeah.
I have to try to put groceries in the car, and it was just such a refined car, and I crashed it. And that was
the E92?
Yeah, I crashed the E92.
You're on a roll, man.
I know, right? My friends are gonna watch this.
Well, let me take back the intro of your name.
I was a crazy driver. I thought I was a race car driver. You know,
we all did.
Military.
We all did.
Right?
I did the same thing.
I think I was stupid. Like when I did the sim rig at Vince's, I was like, I'm not a race car driver. I have like 3 years that I could stay on this and figure it out. But yeah, I was on a roll, like wrecking it, and my friends would even make bets. They're funny, but they were like, let's see how long he has this one. M3 got crashed, and then I got a 135 because I always wanted one.
Yep, super cool.
Yes.
With the turbo?
Yes.
Yep.
And I got it, and I was so unhappy with that car from the M3. So
it's hard to go from NA to turbo,
yeah,
especially in that lineup.
Yeah, and it wasn't the power, the sound, it's not all there, right? And then that's kind of like its own downside. The regular 1 Series and 3 Series suspension was awful. It's soft, it's like mushy. And then you have like the wheel width is not enough, so it's like a very narrow. There's not much special about. The 1 Series is a little more special than the 3 Series, but there wasn't. And then you start, I was like, oh, okay, how do I get into a 1M? And in like the $50,000 range. I'm in the military, I'm like, I can get these loans, I can do whatever, right? And I owned the car outright, and I was like, I could get an M2, or I could kind of make my own thing. And I'm not gonna say I have regrets, but it was definitely kind of like a money pit at some point.
Yeah.
And, but I think I love how it became, and came to fruition. I met y'all, I met Matt, I met everyone, and it's been quite a good time.
Miller, how many times have we preached this? People, I keep trying to share with the public. You just nailed it on the head. How cars bring people together.
Yeah.
And a lot of these, especially the financial gurus, right, are like, cars are a bad decision, blah, 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 blah. Maybe for the general public, but if you skew it just a little bit, you've found more opportunity through buying this car than any dollar amount could amount to at all. If you didn't buy this and you didn't get these opportunities, you'd be sitting on the sidelines like a lot of other people.
Yeah, I'd be driving my Toyota around, and it's so
not
weird.
To say there's anything wrong with that.
No, but it's so weird to think
this opens a world.
Right. A bad financial decision can become this this like enigma where everybody that knows, maybe it's like a special fan club or something. Everybody that knows just knows, and they're all looking for that.
Listen, I bought a purple Lamborghini Performante.
Okay.
I lost my ass when I sold that car because it was before COVID, okay? Because I bought it brand new.
Yeah.
And Lamborghini gave me a deal on it. And this is, remember, granted, if I go way in the past too, you've ever told me I own a Lamborghini one day, I was like, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Great goal for everyone to achieve.
Yeah.
So I bought it, and my wife was upset because I lost so much money on that car, and I was like, but you don't understand the community it opened up to, the friends that I have, the high net worth friends, just the information that passes around in this group is invaluable. But that car made us millions of dollars in the long run because of all the opportunities it opened up. So that's one thing that is not taken into that is not factored in.
Correct.
In cars.
Yeah, you can't like tell somebody like, I don't know how to explain it to you, but it's worth it. It's like it's not. That's all you can say, and somebody's gonna be like, what?
I love that it naturally came up too, because this is just, I keep hammering it because it's just something that, I'm not telling you to go take out a loan for $100,000 and ruin your life over a car, but within your means. But it's just, and it's fun. So let me get back to the driving part. So you love driving this car?
Yes. Now I didn't. I hated it.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, it was so soft, and like it was just the most mushy like piece of shit I could have driven. And I was like, why did I even pay money for this thing when I could have just saved money and got an M3 again? I wanted something new, and I got it. I put some coilovers on it. I started redoing the bushings. The coilovers it was like Fortunato, by the way, make fantastic coilovers. I'm not paid or anything.
But you found that they work, right? Yeah.
And they were local, like they were in Richmond.
Yep.
So I was like, I might as well
supporting them.
Yeah, I might
That's
as well
super cool.
Throw money towards that. The suspension got sorted, and then now it was about the looks. And they say looks don't matter, but it definitely adds the character to everything. Like it does. Like I think another part, there's a philosophy behind cars, and there's the drive, and people are saying it's not about like the looks and whatnot. It's not, but it still adds to that layer of experience when people can kind of go like,
absolutely.
And they're looking, and people are looking, and people would think this is,
And also you want to look at it and go, correct, I love my car.
Correct.
Right.
And it took some time, and now I love driving it. The mountains is a new thing. In the last year, I learned fast. Apparently, I had some great teachers.
CLT speed. There was some driving moments. I was like, man, this guy could drive.
Yeah. There was a one whoa moment, and then I was like, okay, I've got it. I've had great teachers so far up to now. I've been humbled by my own mistakes, and here I am.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you made it past those mistakes and that you're sitting here.
If I crashed in the MR2, I saw wrecks of the MR2 and how they
fold up.
Oh yeah, they just completely get annihilated. Like any crash over 60, they're just like, it's done. You have like a 20% chance of survival.
Oh, perfect. Okay, great. So I will not be adding an MR2 to the collection.
I mean, these might be similar. Or you're just not a shitty driver like me, just thinking I'm, Ken Block. Actually, the day after we saw Ford versus Ferrari, we went out and we were on base. We're so stupid. And we were in the M3 and we were just we're tearing the streets up. And 2 minutes into that drive, the cop pulls us over. And me and my friend look at each other. It's like, we should probably stop doing this.
Well, I love it. So your passion of cars has definitely grown into something that's so much more. Now, let's pull in the photography for a minute. Because now, as you can see in the back, there's a giant rig attached to this. And we're not going to get into the details about the rig per se in this video, because we'll do that in the next one. But where did the photography start to come into your life and now turn into, how has it gotten to the point where it's sitting behind us?
Me and my friend Rojas, in the Navy, we were on deployment. We're about to get on deployment, and we're doing the workups and stuff. And he's like, we're very personable. We talk, and let's just start doing something. So we bought GoPros, and we just kind of filmed our little.
Literally, that was just there's no oh, I love this photographer and I want to be like him.
No,
we just want a hobby.
Yeah, let's just. Yeah, that's literally what it is.
Amazing.
That's kind of what happens in the Navy too. Sometimes it gets really busy, and then it becomes stagnant. So during the stagnant times, let's see what we can do. So we made a deployment video. It was awful. It was 5 years ago or 4 years ago.
That's cool.
Like that. And we were kind of editing, and for some reason people were like, oh, y'all kind of know what you're doing. I'm like, I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. But okay, yeah, let's kind of keep this momentum going. And then I bought a Nikon D3200 or something like that, an entry level DSLR. Started taking pictures. Those were awful. You just got to start somewhere.
If they were good, you'd be a prodigy, right?
It's
just not. It doesn't happen that way.
They were so bad. But I kind of kept growing, and if there was a way to either A, go out and drink and blow your money and which is to each their own, or let's just see where this goes. And now I bought a couple of cameras. Not the top of the line, but they are, they do the job. I research them. That's just another kind of like cars. They have specs. They have views. They have performance.
Oh, it's a whole
it's
rabbit
a rabbit
hole.
hole. Yeah.
Yep.
But that's, I think it's been a journey of 3 or 4 years. Off and on, military has its days where it demands everything. And you're self-taught. You've kind of taught yourself, and we have YouTube and all these outlets now where you can learn, correct. How to do it. Yeah, but still, even with YouTube and stuff, there's just mistakes that happen, and then there's arrogance that happens, and then there's just so much mistakes.
Yeah, but that's how we get where we are.
Correct.
Right? Because
I'm glad I had them then.
Yeah. And then you're going to continue to make mistakes, but it only makes you that much better in your craft. Like, for example, I'm sure the first time you set up this rig and you shot your first car, it wasn't probably the biggest gem in the world. And now you're kind of dialing it in.
Right. It was a fluke, I think. Whenever my friend Matt Weber hit me up and was like, hey, I have an SL63, I used you for like some other shoot, so you got a rig now, let's, and I shot it, and that video came out fantastic. And I was like, oh, I've got it. And then the next few, they were just like, it just kept going downhill, and I kept making mistakes. I didn't like this. And it took me a while to realize there were mistakes too. I had to kind of like step back and go like, yo, these suck.
Yeah.
And then it starts honing back up again, and then mistakes happen again. And then it kind of just goes up, and this is like going up ladder. And that's how that went.
But how you get better is just by continuing to do,
Correct.
right? And then the thing about this too is that there's not only the filming aspect, trying to get the camera to actually do what you want it to do while you're driving the car, but then there's also like the back end editing stuff.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of mistakes to be made there.
Yeah.
And
it's not as easy as it looks. And it's art, so it's like it's labor, art, and mechanics, and like everything at the same time. So like, versus like, okay, if I turn a wrench on a jet engine, okay, my job is done. Now we have to get this kind of like acceptance and kind of like, ooh, are they gonna like it? Are they not gonna like it? What do they don't like? And it's definitely a tough game, but I enjoy it at the moment.
And people's tastes change all the time.
Yeah,
so sometimes you can think that was the best video in the world, and then you put it out there and it gets nothing.
Exactly.
And then you shoot the dumbest thing you've ever shot, and you're like, I've made mistakes in it and all this stuff, and it goes freaking viral.
Yeah. It seems to be a trend. It's like the less effort you put into it, the more. I don't believe that, but
well, and then there's some videos that look like there was no effort put in, but it was purposely done that way, and they end up. It's just social media is just a weird beast.
Social media is not a real place, thankfully.
This is very true.
Thank God it's not a real place. Yeah, but it has its tools, and But then again, like when I was working for a detail shop in Virginia Beach, Johannes taught me. He's like, somebody was there like as my boss and going like, this sucks, change it. And in my head, I thought I was the best videographer ever. I was like, no, this doesn't suck. I'm not changing it. And he's like, you have to change it. And the more I kind of worked with him, I was like, oh, I do suck. Let me figure this out.
That's our ego that inserts itself.
Correct.
Yep, I've had that happen.
I do suck. And it was like, I think within the span of like 2 months, it was like we got the marketing aspect down. It was like, okay, we're good. Ultimately, from what we were talking earlier, I didn't want to work for somebody anymore because things happen.
Yep.
But yeah, the journey is big. I mean, we could talk about all the mistakes, but yeah.
So going forward, now there's a path forward, right? And you're talking about going to New York City?
Correct.
To go to school?
Yes.
Okay, talk a little bit about what that looks like.
I wish I had more details. I'm kind of throwing myself into the belly of the beast with a little bit of help. My prior military friends that, the great thing about the military, you make fantastic friends.
Yep.
Unreplaceable friends.
Yep.
The shitty part is that you get ripped apart from them.
You do.
Yeah. Regardless, we're kind of coming back together, and I'm kind of just doing. And I'm doing videography, I'm trying to get into finance, I'm trying to get into real estate, and I'm just doing until I can't do anymore. And I'm like, I can't fucking do it anymore. Until those words happen, hopefully they never do, that's my plan. It's not much of one.
You know what, it's a start, because a lot of people don't do that part.
Yeah.
No, a lot of people don't do. They just stay in this same zone that's comfortable, that takes them, and they just keep getting more miserable. And I have a lot of empathy for that.
Yeah.
But what I like about what you're doing is you're kind of trying life.
Yeah.
In a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
And you should. That's what I hope a lot of people would do. I wish people would try life more, because there's a lot of cool stuff out there you might not even know exists.
Yeah.
And that might be your thing, right?
And you'll never know, just like staying in one place. And I was succeeding in the military. I was moving up fast and doing all that. And then my friend kind of like, he talked to me and he was like, when's the last time you like struggled actually? Like financially, and like, the military, we become like very numb to a lot of things, but then
absolutely.
But then, the money will always be there, like that kind of steady pace of money. And that's, in our society, that's just something that you need. But he was asking like, when's the last time you actually like had a challenge, or like you've been like whatever, very like
uncomfortable
and innately scared. And that hasn't happened until before the military. So like I joined the military and just got really comfortable.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it until somebody like
everything's taken care of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's not where I wanted to stop. And I didn't realize that until friends were kind of like in my ear, and he's like, there's a lot of dumbasses in the Navy too. And he was like, you know, you can be, why do you want to be a leader of a group of dumbasses? You're just going to you're going to become them. You know, and I was like, you know, and all those words, everything is just resonating and whatnot. But with that being said, the fear and like the risk that start resonating with it, and they're just like, okay, what's going to happen? And it was like a couple months of just like anxiety, going like, all right, am I going to reenlist? Am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? What am I going to do? And now, the more I like go through it, and the more I talk to like my friends like Matt and Rohan, it's like you just got to do.
Just got to do it.
Yeah, you just got to do. And so people are on different paces in life. Some people make it when they're 20. Some people make it when they're 40. Some people make it when they're
absolutely
80. Right? I'd rather be on the earlier side. But let's just see what happens. And I'm not too worried, but I am cautious.
Well, and you know what I love about what you're doing too is it's going to evoke every emotion over the next 10, 20 years in the process, because there's going to be hard times, there's going to be great times, there's going to be, but it's the most exciting time of your life.
Yeah.
When what a lot of people lose focus of too is, and this is something you've probably heard a lot, is when I get here, I'll be happy. When I have this, I'll be happy, right? Let me tell you something. The most happy I've ever been in my life has been during the journey.
Okay. Cliche.
Right?
Cliche.
Kind of.
Kind of.
But like, look around you. Look at all these cars, right? I have the things that I always dreamed of and more. And
it's cliche but true.
It's cliche but true.
I think so. I really do think so.
I'm doing this channel with Miller and with you guys and friends, and bringing this authentic side of the car community and what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm on another journey.
Yeah.
Because it really is the best part. Don't ever lose sight of that.
Yeah, thank you.
Right?
Yeah.
And I love that you're taking the risk, because the journey in the military is boring.
It is.
I'm just going to be straight up and say
I didn't even realize it was boring until my friend was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what have you done? I was like, oh, I don't know. I bought a house and I just kind of go to work and come back. And
I'm not dogging, we're not dogging the military by any means.
It has its uses.
But if you're looking to build something in your life that's a little more exciting, like you have to take the risk. And you listen, you're not going to starve, right? You have friends, family. If you fall on your face, you're gonna get. Listen, I couch surfed. Like I've been there. It's and you figure it out.
Yeah, you really.
And that's part of the fun. To be honest, it sucks, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah. I'm just glad I have like a great group of friends that are going to be like there. And let's just see what happens. If everything goes south, then I'll just have to figure it out a different way.
Now I will give you one really helpful tip to assist you with your journey.
Okay.
And it's something I preach about a lot. You might have heard it, but creating yourself as a future.
Okay.
Okay. We're not going to do it right now, but I'm going to guide you through it, and then I want you to take time after this to actually put it into practice. Okay. You're going to write stuff down. So what I did back when I was in my late 20s is someone told me to create yourself as your future self. So like, who are you when you're 70 years old? Mm-hmm. Who are you when you're 75 years old? Mm-hmm. What's your life look like? Yeah. Are you married? Do you have kids? Mm-hmm. Where are you living? Mm-hmm. How much money do you have? What career are you in? Yeah. Right? All this stuff. What's your fitness level? Yeah. Like literally dig down into, if you're to fast forward in your life and you're 70 years old, who are you?
Yeah, like what am I wearing? Like where am I going? Where am I living? I get it. Just by detail. And I guess if you envision it, you invoke it. Is that kind of where that goes?
What you do is you live into it.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, I mean pretty much same concept, right? So if I'm this, and this is who I envision myself to be, and this is who I want to be when I'm that old, all of a sudden in your life, you're going to start changing your path, and you're going to start becoming that person now. Yeah. So I was a multi-million-dollar real estate investor, blah, 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 and I was broke and drowning in debt. Yeah. But what I started doing was I started holding myself higher. I started, instead of maybe going out on the weekend, I was spending more time learning my trade at the time, which was commercial real estate finance. Yeah. Like I was like doing the things that was leading me more in this direction, whereas I was just a freaking lost bunny in the woods, so to speak. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yes, I understand.
So I would challenge you to, after this, over the next couple weeks, just start writing some things down. Okay. About who that person is. Okay.
I'll send you the list.
Yeah, I love it, dude. I'd love to look at it.
Be a multi-million-dollar singer with jewelry and all the cars. No.
John Gaga.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Well, I mean, this is Dude, great talking to you. I mean, what do you think? I mean, is there anything else that you want to bring up? Is there anything else that we missed that you want to touch on?
Would it be ghetto if I was like, shout out to all my homies? No.
Shout out to the homies. Yeah, that'll.
All the great homies. Shout out to Vince. Shout out to now.
He's sitting behind the camera.
Yeah. Hi, Vince.
Vince's turn's coming up.
Yes.
See, this isn't so painful, is it, Vince?
We're holding ourselves accountable to our future.
That's right. But I think that's a wrap. I think we can wrap it up right there. Yeah. I really enjoyed talking to you, dude. You have a very good feel about you too. Like I like talking to you and being around you. That's going to take you really far in life too.
I hear that. I'm just not sure where. We'll see what happens.
You come off very humble. You come off very nice. I mean, these are qualities that no matter what happens, when you start making it, just keep being that person.
Okay.
Because that's going to carry you really far.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's all I got. Sweet. Miller? I always turn to Miller at the end.
You know, I'm supposed to be on the spot. I'm like,
Is there anything that you would like to, what's been your favorite part so far about the journey you've been on? If there's one thing you can really.
Oh, it'll be the people. Unequivocally the people. I think at some point I want to direct this like movie, and I want to figure out how to portray like how my life would have been if those people weren't there. Like let's say an alternate ending. I don't want to give away trade secrets, but I'm kind of creating it on the side, and I want to do it before I go to New York City while I have the resources.
Dude, I got goosebumps thinking about that. That's wild.
I don't want. I've never wanted pity. I never wanted any of that growing up. But I definitely want to show how this person or how this teacher or how this person was like. If they weren't there saying the things that they did, it's like, hey, don't do this. Or like when I started my first job at a high school at Toyota of Olympia, there was a dude named, I suck at names. Damn it, it's supposed to be Captain.
It's all good.
But he was like, yo, you don't want to be here. Like we've been to jail. Like you don't want to be here. You don't need to be here. Go somewhere else. And that's why I joined, because there was like, it was starting to like fall and I had to make a decision. And I want to show how, like, if I didn't meet my friends like Rojas and Nabi and them, or if I didn't meet Matt or any of, those, or like Poochie or like all, Nat, all the homeboys back in Lakewood, if they weren't there kind of like helping me and figuring out, it's like, maybe you should go here, or dude, like, don't do this or don't do that. Like if those people weren't there, I want to show how bad people can, not just me, because it's not just me in that story, there's other people in those.
It would impact them too.
Right.
Dang.
And it's like how far it can fall and how hard it can fall. That's just something, and it will always be the people.
Bro,
it will always be the people.
That is freaking a great way to end this thing. That is I cannot wait to watch that movie.
I'm doing what I can. I have to make the finances first and make sure I make smart decisions, but I'm going to ultimately show it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Well, thanks for coming. We're gonna go to this thing now. We're gonna talk about all this in a second episode, so stay tuned. Appreciate you guys hanging around, and that's all I got.
All right.
Cool.
Thanks for having me.
See ya.